I first never had plans to make a video about this, but after a lot of questions from people asking me to break down the editions for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and since Ubisoft went crazy and decided to release a ton of them, and there's also early access, so a lot of stuff going on, it can totally get confusing. So I thought, let's do a video about the editions and also look at the deluxe pack, what you get and stuff like that, and give you my opinion as well. If you enjoyed that, then a like would be super appreciated, and let's go. Before we start, I want to say that the choice of course totally up to you, and I can see why you would want to wait with pre-ordering the game. I mean, you basically can do it on the first day of October and still get most of the editions and the perks that you get from them as well. And then you would also have seen more gameplay, trailers and footage, and probably by then you have seen what we can expect from the Season Pass as well with a post-launch content trailer. So there's really no good reason to pre-order the game already, unless you of course want a limited edition with a statue or know that you will play it no matter what. Whatever you do, I still think this video will be interesting for everyone anyway, to help you out when you decide to get the game and also to get a sense of what is out there. The official release date for Assassin's Creed Odyssey is October 5th, but via some editions you can already play on October 2nd. So good to note is that those editions that give you early access are the Gold Edition if you buy it digital, the Ultimate Edition if you buy it digitally as well, the Gold Edition at the Ubisoft Club Store, and every more expensive edition at the Ubisoft Store as well. And I will touch on those editions a little later. So first, if you order Odyssey everywhere else, even if you buy like a higher priced edition at a retailer nearby, then you will always get it on October 5th. And Ubisoft is probably doing that because otherwise everyone will just send their games out on October 2nd. And now they can kind of control that early access period, with digital of course having unlocked times, and them of course controlling the Ubisoft store themselves. Here we see a comparison chart with most of the editions that do not include a statue. So you got the standard edition, just the full game, then the deluxe edition that includes everything you see here as well, so an XP and drachma boost, and those are temporary, so maybe just for 1 hour or something. You got the Chronos gear pack with 1 armor set, a mount and a heavy blade, I think. It looks like a heavy blade. Then we got the Herald of Dusk gear pack with a more stealthy armor set and a sword. Then we got the naval pack that includes 1 crew member for your ship that will enhance your ship in 1 way, and also a cosmetic like change for your ship, so it looks a little bit different. So a few reasons why I would not really care about this pack. 1, the gear packs are likely going to be at your level, and with Odyssey not having any cosmetic outfits like we saw in Origin, so you can better compare the gear packs that we see right here to Syndicate, for example, that also gave stat upgrades. It means that you will eventually, probably really early on, find new gear that is better than the stuff you get from this deluxe pack. And sure, you can upgrade it at the blacksmith to get it back to your level, but I don't think that will be worth it. Like, you will have to pay a lot of money, I would imagine. The same goes for the new crew member. I mean, in the beginning it's probably nice that you already got a crew member, but in the end you will find way better persons, I would imagine. Plus, if you're playing the game and then think, I really want the deluxe edition because I like the armor sets or whatever, then you can probably also buy it separately in the Helix store that will probably be available in Odyssey as well. So I don't really see a reason to go for the deluxe edition, but that is just my take. It also does not have the early access. If you pre-order the game, no matter what edition, you get early access to the Blind King mission, and early access already implies that the mission will be available later on as well, just like we saw with Origins and the secrets of the first Pyramid side quest that showed up in the Ubisoft Club section of the game a few months after launch. And that is nice, like to have suddenly a new quest to do when you maybe already completed the game. Right now it's like there are probably hundreds of quests in Odyssey, so to have 1 extra, it's not that big a deal. Still nice of course, but it's good to know that everyone will get this mission in the end. There's also this Secrets of Greece mission that is exclusive to the Season Pass. And while the Season Pass will likely be available separately later on as well, we also got the Gold Edition that already includes the Season Pass and also the 3 days early access if you buy it digitally. Otherwise, you don't get the early access. Or via the Ubisoft store, of course, works as well. And what is interesting about this Gold Edition is that in the European PlayStation Store, the regular game is 70 euros, with the Gold Edition being 100 euros. But in the US, there is a $40 difference, with the Standard Edition being 60 bucks and the Gold Edition $100. So I'm like wondering what the money advantage for buying the gold edition in the US is right now. And I think looking at Origins, the season pass is likely $40. So that means that in Europe you save 10 euros because the regular edition is 70 euros and the gold edition is 100. But in the US you don't save anything. You only get the 3 days early access. Maybe that's something you want to buy the gold edition for then. Because while with Origins you got the deluxe pack we just talked about included in the gold edition, for Odyssey, this is not the case for whatever reason. Because we got the Ultimate Edition now that is 10 euros more than the Gold Edition and $20 more than the Gold Edition in the US. And yes, that does come with the Deluxe Pack and the Season Pass and the 3 days early access. So that was what the Gold Edition was for Origins. So yes, I would say don't fall for the Ultimate Edition. Then we're basically giving Ubisoft a green light and say, yeah, make a more expensive edition with the stuff you gave us for a less expensive price before. As for the Gold Edition, I think it's smartest to wait till the post-launch content trailer that will likely happen a few weeks before release, so then you can see what the Season Pass will give you, and then you can still get the game with the 3 days early access and the pre-order bonus. I mean, that early access is pretty cool in my opinion. I'm really a sucker that falls for that, since I want to play the game as soon as I can. I got to be honest, of course, I will likely get the game from Ubisoft earlier than the early access, so I can prepare a lot of content for you. But for other games that I will not get early, I would totally fall for the early access. So long story short, it's really hard also to recommend something because it's really based on your region. Just Google, of course, what the prices are where you live. Anyway, I would say go for the gold edition of the game, but there's no reason to buy it right now until you've seen the post-launch content trailer. And while I know I will be playing the Season Pass content no matter what, there's really no rush to go and get this edition already, because even if you buy it on October 1st, you will still have the early access on October 2nd and get all the goods. I can see though why you would want to go and pre-order the more limited editions that come with a statue. We got the Medusa edition, for example, with a small statue of Alexios jumping off a Medusa head. The edition also comes with an art book, the game, the soundtrack, a world map, only the Cronus pack from the deluxe edition and the temporary boosts. Good to note, because since this edition is not available digitally or at the Ubisoft store, there's no early access in this edition. The price I've seen is $120, so 120 euros, but of course check your local retailer for their price. There's also the Spartan edition that comes with a different statue of Alexios jumping off something. It's a 15.55 inch tall statue and also has the soundtrack, map, art book, steelbook, deluxe pack, and a lithograph, a sort of painting, and a gold edition of the game, so including the Season Pass. Because yes, the Medusa edition does not include the Season Pass of Odyssey. Because you can only get this one at the Ubisoft store, it will include the early access, so they will send it to you on October 2nd. And this is also the case with the Ultimate Collector's Edition, or the Pantheon edition in short. This includes the same 15.55 inch tall statue from Alexios, but also with an enemy figure from 11.22 inch tall. I like the purple armor, hopefully that's also something we can get in the game. And yes, this edition basically includes everything we saw in the previous edition I talked about as well. The soundtrack, map, art book, steelbook, deluxe pack, a lithograph, and the gold edition of the game. So again, with the Season Pass. So you're basically paying $60 extra for that figurine of the enemy. But there's more. I told you Ubisoft had a ton of editions for this game. We got another statue that looks pretty cool from Kassandra, and you'll find that one in the Kassandra edition, plus the gold edition of the game, so with the Season Pass and a steelbook. Good to note is that this edition is exclusive to GameStop, and I found it on EB Games in Canada as well. I forgot to mention that the Medusa edition is not available in the US, so you can only get that in Europe. There's also the Omega pack that is exclusive to game, or maybe in your region, like for example in the Netherlands where I live. I can also get the Omega edition at a local retailer. This one does include the Omega pack, so the Chronos pack we saw in the deluxe edition, just like the temporary boost, and also a map and an art book. Then there's also the Athenian edition, and I promise that this is the last one, at least as far as I know. This one has the Athenian weapon pack I touched on in a recent video, and also an exclusive steelbook that actually looks pretty cool. As far as I know, it's only available at Mighty Ape in New Zealand and at GB Hi-Fi in Australia. So personally, I think if you want to get a statue, of course, get the one you want, but I think the Spartan Collector's Edition is the best choice. In this case, since it also includes the gold edition, they get also the 3 days early access, something that the Medusa edition does not have, just like the Kassandra edition. And I think like spending 60 bucks on an extra figurine is not really worth it. So yeah, there you go. Of course, choose the edition you want. Just the standard edition should be good enough. Like, there's a ton of content in this game, and they can also like buy the season pass and deluxe edition if you ever want separately. If you want the early access, I would go for the digital gold edition, or you can also buy a gold edition in the Ubisoft store. And if you want a statue, I would go for the Spartan collector's edition, but of course it's totally up to you. Okay, wow, a 10-minute video on all the editions of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Ubisoft went really crazy with this one. Let me know what you think of the editions. Which one are you going to get? In the comments down below. Subscribe for everything Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I promise I will talk more about the game next time. That is way more interesting in my opinion. But yeah, it's a ton of people asked me to do this video. Check my recent video on what Ubisoft is hinting we will get in the season pass of Odyssey. And I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.